Hey family, it's Tasha MamabearPrepping. So today I want to say welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. Get your drink, pull up, let's talk about it. We are going to get right into talking about, the great collapse. How do you, whether that's an economic collapse, that's a food collapse, that's some sort of war collapse, right? Whatever it is, what is it that you can do today to prepare for the big collapse, right? The approaching collapse. So when we say collapse to you guys, really that just means that something so significant has happened that we take a huge hit as a country, possibly as a world, and chaos ensues because we have not done our due diligence in making sure that our society and our people understand about preparedness and how to get ready for such things and how to mentally prepare for such things. And so by not doing that, we've done a disservice. There's going to be tons of people that are going to die off and not understand what to do, okay, to survive. And so, and this can come from all different directions, of a collapse, right? This literally could come from political stuff. It could come from natural storm weather stuff. It could come from, solar flare, CME, war type stuff, civil war type stuff, cyber attack type stuff, right? Somebody taking down our grid in a significant way. There's just so many ways that this could happen, okay? And I want to talk about this from just a basic economic collapse for us, right? What does that look like? How do we get there? And let's go into these. I think I have 6 things that you can do right now to prepare for an economic collapse, for a collapse, okay? These kind of work for any major thing happening, okay? So number 1 I have is start living within your means, right? Obviously, scale back your spending, scale back the things that we consider important and that we are still continuing to spend money on as a country, right? The days of upgrading your phone every year, upgrading your laptop computer, getting a new TV, getting all the kids brand new $250 sneakers, like having the nice of the nice, right? Purse fetishes, shoe fetishes, car fetishes, just all these things that we have been taught in the wrong way to continue to purchase is not good for us. Is it possibly good for the economy, right? Just keeping that going. However, it's not good for us because we've taught ourselves to live way beyond our means. People have debt and get credit card after credit card. Hey, if I need something, I'll just swipe it and put it on the credit card. And so we've got to get back to like living with less, okay? Not having the best of the best. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have a bougie meal with literally 30-40 ingredients to make this nice meal. Does it taste great and it's beautiful and it's delicious? Absolutely. But we could scale that back a little bit. So my number 1 thing is start living within your means, right? Start not doing all the extra credit cards and, pay those off. Just get rid of them, okay? Just live within your means. Live within what you are making as a citizen in this country, okay? And just stop adding to the debt, okay? Just live within what you are making. If you want more, then make more, right? Go and get another job or something along those lines. But don't stop feeding into that. We have to have the next best thing, okay? Second thing I have is start making your money moves, right? You need to prepare for bank closures, what that looks like. When the housing crashes, when the economy crashes, basically don't get caught not having any money, right? Don't get caught not having any money in any regards to work with, okay? If something collapses, ATMs immediately. This could be something as small as a grid down situation where there is no power, something has been hit in our infrastructure and the banks just close, or it could be economically driven and the banks just close. And just one day you can get your money out of there and the next day you cannot, and your money's just gone, okay? And so you have to make your money moves now. Some examples is taking more cash out, right? You make a living, you make a certain amount of money. Start taking out more cash and getting used to paying with cash, right? You can take your cash out and pay a lot of bills at different places with cash, right? You can go to Walmart, for example, and pay a ton of your bills with cash, okay? There's different ways that you can pay your bills like that. Or maybe it's okay, you go ahead and you have all your bills automatically taken out of the bank, but then everything else you take out. You've got to have made some money moves and have serious amounts of some cash out and get to a point where you're doing more with cash, so that you are not so caught off guard with you only live on a credit card system. Not only can they track everything, but the minute something happens, you're dead in the water, okay? You need to be thinking about that. Yes, I'm thinking other options too, right? If you're a Bitcoin person or some kind of silver, gold, that type of thing. Okay, cool. If that's your thing, then do that, right? Have some options, bartering items, whatever it is that later on you could use for some sort of currency. Just be thinking about that. But a huge piece of that, you guys, is having your money, okay? You having your money and being able to manipulate it and use it, okay? If you have to have something that you have a bill that comes out, leave that money in there or put some money back in there, okay? But do not get caught in the middle of a situation and you don't have any money, because trust me, if anything happens, it will be one day it's fine and the next day it's not. And there won't be like this period where it's like, hey, it's about to crash, get your money out, right? It's going to crash in 3 hours. You're not going to have any kind of warning, okay? Next thing I have is start living with less. I talked about living within your means, right? But now I want you to think more of living with less, right? Take it back to our ancestors of doing things with less. Think grid down and having to do the everyday things if you didn't have power and all the nice luxury items that you have in your home to take care of business, to do things, right? Think about the manual tools and the comfort things that you would want to have so that you could still do things the way you want to do it on the level you want to do it without power, okay? So learn to live with less. Think off-grid type living, right? Think simple, all right? Think scale back, a more simple life, living with less power. Like, practice those things, okay? Because then a collapse is not so hard. If you prepare for, I've always said this, if you prepare for blackouts, grid down, and you prepare in all the areas, you're ready for a lot of things, to include a collapse, you guys, okay? An economic collapse. So just think grid down, think off-grid living, simplify your life, get handheld things in case you are living with no power, and kind of take it from there, right? Scale back your food and what you're requiring for things, right? So live with less. Next thing I have is prepare for chaos. So again, when anything big happens, naturally chaos, rioting, protesting, all of those things are there, okay? And this could be something as simple as things are going left, people are rioting stores, there's chaos. You are now having to worry about, okay, family, people, protecting yourself, hordes, marauders, depending on where you live, you're in a business area and they start going after your home because you're right there and they're in the midst of going crazy looking for stuff. But you scale this back because it's not just always like what the movies are depicting as far as just like riots and everything downtown, whatever. Like that stuff would be coming to your neighborhoods, possibly to your homes. And it might not look like a horde, right? It might not look like that romantic, like the horde's going to come to your house and be like, you have something we want. And like, it could be something as simple as it's a family, a desperate family who is willing to do anything. Those parents are willing to do anything to get their kids some food, okay? And so those are the dangerous ones. And you have to be thinking about chaos and the things that might come your way and how you're going to deal with that, okay? Let's see. Thinking about in that same area, chaos too, a huge piece of that is just fortification of your home. Do not make it easy. Look like a hard target. Look like, dang, we can't get in the windows, they're boarded. I see locks. They try a couple doors are locked. Maybe they don't even get that far because there's stuff that's out that makes them fearful of not wanting to go in there, okay? Whether that's signs, whether that's just it just looks scary, whatever, you need to fortify your home to make it difficult for somebody to get in, but even making it look like it's a house that they look, let's pass on this house. This house looks fortified. It looks like strong. It's kind of creepy. There's nobody here, but it's all clearly boarded up or whatever. Okay, so just do what you got to do to prepare yourself, your family, and your home for chaos that will come. Next thing I have, you can prepare for the long dig-in. Okay, basically, when something happens, most of the time you're going to stay home. You're going to dig in, but you have to mentally and physically prepare for that long-term dig-in. And when I say long-term, I'm talking about at least 90 days. Like, you have to be able to think, okay, we have to stay here during the dying time. Let the chaos happen outside in the world. Let all the killing happen, the people that are dying, let all that stuff happen outside, okay? Don't get to a point where you're like feeling like you guys have to move. You're going to know if you have to leave. Like, you're not leaving unless your house is burning down or a nuke just dropped and you've got to move. You're not leaving otherwise, okay? You're staying there, and you need to prepare your home and your family to include your preps, your mental game, everything for the long dig-in, to stay put. And that is difficult for a lot of people because you're going to have a lot of chaos of people. So we're watching this show right now, Invasion, and it's a new show. It's awesome, right? It's basically us being invaded by aliens is what it's looking like. But you should see the chaos and the confusion at first as they're being attacked, and the people don't know what's going on right in this neighborhood. They just know that that the neighborhood is totally trash, houses are destroyed, stuff's on fire. They don't know what's going on. And the thought process of they didn't know what to do. One house didn't get hit, so then they immediately turn on that family like, why is your house not hit, right? It just was. Then you see one family is leaving, they get in their car and they're leaving, and so everybody's panicked like, they're leaving, should we leave? Like, just the whole, the majority of the people's thought processes, that is going to be what happens. Like, for us looking at it, we're like, Lord, like, they can't even make a decision. Like, they're just standing there, they're wasting time that could be, I'm like, we'd already be in the house fortifying it. It just blows my mind that is the average person. The average person would be panicked, would not know what to do, would not know what the right answer is, to leave, to go, what is happening, trying to decipher that. It was just bonkers, okay? And that is how it's going to be, right? People are not going to know what to do. And you have to be prepared to make the decisions to know it's time to pull back. It's time to fortify your home. So while everybody's panicked, doesn't know what to do, you're fortifying your home, okay? You're boarding it up. You're closing gates. You're locking stuff down. You're making sure stuff's in your windows. You are like really, you're staging your defensive tools. At this point, you're wearing your defensive tools and you have them staged around the house, okay? We are in full, go mode, okay? Now, the next one, this might be a little touchy. I'm going to try to explain my thought process on this as much as I can without, I guess, getting in trouble. But the next thing is prepare for martial law. Now, when it comes to martial law, right, that is basically the government comes in to an area and they shut down the area, meaning typically it's, hey, you're going to stay in your homes, such, this is happening, stay in your homes, and that is what it is, okay? But there's certain levels, and it's difficult because if you're a law-abiding citizen, right, you want to follow the laws, you want to do what they're telling you to do. If they're telling you to stay inside, it really depends on, like, why are they telling you to stay inside? Obviously, if something is really, really bad, it's in your benefit to stay inside anyway, okay, whether they tell you to or not. The things that I worry about, though, with martial law is the chaos that ensues with that, the laws that come with that, and the power that comes with that institution or that group of people being able to confiscate stuff and take stuff, okay? There was, when Katrina happened, there was police coming around and they were taking people's weapons. They were coming door to door and they were taking people's weapons, right? They were taking defensive tools from people. And a lot of people are like, no, that didn't happen. A lot of people are like, no, it absolutely did. Who knows if those people got that stuff back? I mean, they were taking stuff. And it was because it was chaotic down there. And what they didn't want to have happen is they didn't want the people to be armed and be able to do more damage, okay? And some people complied and some people did not. And so what I would say is just know that martial law is a thing. It's a law, okay? If you're a law-abiding citizen, you want to be following the rules and the law as much as you can, okay? I did just say that, and a lot of people are like, no way. But what I would also say is, since you know that, prepare for that, okay? Don't make it so easy that they're just, we're going to come in and confiscate either defensive tools, or we're just going to come in and take food or whatever. They realize you have preps and they want to take it. You need to be able to make a hard decision on what is going to be your guys' game move, right? Do you guys have stuff hidden? Do you have stuff that you would give up to them just to appease them? Do you go out in a firefight and just, that's it? You have to be thinking, what are you going to do? Are you willing to be arrested and taken away? I don't know. These are really hard questions and things that I cannot answer for you. It's one of the reasons why I haven't done a martial's law video, because it's one of those things that I can't advise you guys what to do if martial law happened, okay? What I would tell you to do is you should stay calm and you should plan now what your guys' moves are for different things that could happen with martial law, and at what level is this martial law? Are they dragging people out of their homes and beating them or sending them to camps, or at what level are we doing it? Is it just they're merely there to say stay in your home, and they're leaving you alone, and they're just saying, hey, you guys need to stay put. You don't need to be coming out and going places because it's dangerous, right? So you need to be able to decipher at what level of martial law we're kind of at, okay? I watch movies all the time where there's some sort of martial law and like the whole area is locked down or quarantined, and usually it has to do with some kind of virus or whatever. And I always just think like, wow, they're like really like in a concentration camp, like the whole area, yeah, they're at their homes, but that whole city or town or whatever is basically locked down. And then I think, okay, well, we prepare, so who cares? Like, if you don't take me from my home, then who cares? Because we hopefully are already to a point where you're living on your own accord anyway, right? You're growing your own food. You can barter within that small community. You can help others at this point. If you guys are all locked up, but you're free to go to each other's, neighbors' houses and stuff like that, you can basically start your own little prepping town within the confines of whatever you guys are locked down for, right? And again, a lot of people would be like, no, I'll never let it get to that point. But it becomes, what are you going to do to survive? I guess I worded that wrong. Not what are you going to do to survive, but if you find yourself in a situation that's scary, like that's scary to think that things could get to a point like that, it becomes of what can you do now to prepare so that situation is not as bad as it could be. Those people were getting food and stuff and they had jobs, but they weren't really, they were poor. They were barely making it, barely having enough to put food on the table. And nobody wants to be like that, right? It's better to prepare now so that if something happens like that, it's good. And if it's something light, like, hey, you just got to dig in and lock down, like this stuff we dealt with last year. A lot of people are like, I went crazy. And that's what I'm talking about mental game. But it was easy for us. Like it was nothing. First of all, it was a break. Okay, from work, from hard work, right? I was like, thank you. I get to stay home with the kiddos and just relax and not think about work so much. And we were still working right from home, but it's just a different vibe, right? And so, it wasn't the end of the world because we had what we needed to basically to live without panicking, on what's the next move and what are we going to do. Okay. So I don't know. I know it's a hard topic because and it's why I haven't done a video, because it's very controversial on how people will react and how people feel about the words martial law. And to be honest, none of us really know what we'll do until we're there in that moment. You know, I could say all day, oh, I'm gonna follow the laws, and I'm gonna, you know, perfect. And then something happens, we get to that point, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not feeling this. I don't like what's going on. And it's something else, okay? Or vice versa. I have in my mind that it's going to be chaotic. They're going to be forcing me to try to do something, coming in my home, trying to take my preps, trying to take my defensive tools. I'm not having it. And it becomes something simple like, ma'am, can you just stay in your house because it's dangerous out here right now. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of chaos. People are dying. And we just need you to stay inside because we can't protect everybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, there's so many levels and layers to it that it's very difficult to talk you through what you're supposed to be doing. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So is a full collapse approaching? I think to some degree, absolutely. Okay. I don't know what's going to be the thing that actually, you know, breaks the camel's back. I don't know what that thing is going to be that all of a sudden it's done. You know, a lot of people will say the Evergrande bankruptcy thing. A lot of people will say the housing crash is coming. A lot of people are saying all this money that the government is handing out, infrastructure bill, all this stuff is contributing to it. And that, you know, this next year, we're going to go into obviously hyperinflation, you know, inflation's happening, all this stuff's happening, and that it's going to come to a head after the holidays this next year. And who knows? All you can do is be calm and just prepare and think about what you have, what you still have to get. What can you get now while you can get it? What can you plant now while you can get it? Plant some fruit trees in your backyard, right? Plant some, you don't even have to be a huge gardener as far as like, hey, plant all this stuff. Plant a couple fruit trees or something, right? Just, you know, that stuff takes a while, but I'm telling you, just do some stuff that's forward thinking and thinking about the future, okay? And what that can mean later on in life, okay? Make some investments in yourself and in your family and in your property to help you prepare for any kind of collapse, okay? So I will see you guys in the next video. I'd love to hear in the comments below your guys' thoughts on this topic. Did I hit the mark? What's your thoughts on all of this stuff? I mean, we could talk about it, what your guys' thoughts are on martial law. Keep it classy, okay? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.